We're Josiah and Lauda, and we exchanged traditional comforts for a life filled with adventure, peace, and freedom when we moved into our van Paz in June of 2021.
Join us as we explore alternative ways of living outside the system.
In building our tiny home, one thing that we talked a lot about was being able to afford the house without having to take out any loans. Today's Wednesday, which means we've been working on the Cobb house for a week, and everything's taken shape pretty nicely. We're finally putting the pallets up. We're hoping to get them all up today. Fingers crossed. I grew up being taught the American dream is having the white picket fence, going to college, all these different things. But in reality, that requires taking out a lot of debt, which then takes away my freedom. I went to undergrad, I went to law school, and I had to take out 6 figures worth of student loans, which essentially forced me to take the highest paying job I could so I could pay off my student loan. After quitting my job as an attorney, I knew that I didn't want to do the same thing with a house. I didn't want to take out this big loan that I wasn't going to be able to pay back unless I had a job that paid me a lot of money. So we're using pallets for the inner wall of the Cobb house. We chose to go this direction for a couple reasons. First, it's a lot quicker than filling the whole wall with Cobb. Also, it's super cheap, and most pallets are just thrown out. We got each of these pallets for like maybe $1.
We just have half of the pallet, and so in order to complete the other side, we need to destroy some of the pallets so we can use this wood and we can fill the opposite side of the pallet. I remember when I told you about this place and I said like maybe we can build 3 or 4 glampings because now are so popular here. We can hire somebody else or a group of people so we can finish the glampings faster as possible so we can start a business. But I remember we were talking about the pros and cons and all the responsibilities, and also maybe the stress that managing a business like that would put on us. We realized and we decided we don't want to have a business, and especially we need to ask for a loan. I don't like credits. I don't have any credit card, or even when banks ask me, for me it's like, no, I'm very well right now. I don't need any credit.
And I think, at least in my experience, it's normal to have multiple credit cards, student loans, personal loans, a car payment, a house payment, and like no judgment. I think for a lot of people, like being able to leverage your credit really benefits, people being able to start businesses, all sorts of different things. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just know for us, discussing it, we want to be as free as possible. We want to be able to pick up and go, and we don't want to be tied down to a job. We don't want to be tied down to payments. It's a really beautiful idea, being able to have something that no matter what, we'll be able to come back to without having those monthly payments.
Especially like the life we are living right now, we don't want that distress. For example, I would ask for a loan to build the glampings, or even a big house and paying somebody else. I think that right now we'll be stressed out, thinking I need them to finish faster, so maybe we can rent it out. But now it's like, okay, whatever.
If we pick up and go for a month because we want to go explore some other place and we come back, we can finish it whenever we want. We have no pressure. When I was looking at a house in the past, I wanted to see like, okay, how big of a loan will I qualify for? And the bank was willing to give me over $1 million in order to buy a house. And like, yes, I had a good job, but it was crazy to me thinking like, I'm gonna have $1 million I have to pay back. Sure, it's over 30 years. But during those 30 years, it's like, I have that obligation, I have that requirement to continue making those payments each and every month. Yeah, maybe I could sell it, but you don't know what's gonna happen with the market.
We are using this straw for the insulation of the house. We put the straw inside these pallets, and with this wood, we press it so it gets like compact.
So the straw not only serves as insulation, but it also saves us time, because rather than having to fill all this space with Cobb, we're able to fill it with straw and then put Cobb on each side of the pallet. It's just a different way of thinking, to say rather than seeing what I can afford, what's the nicest thing that I can pay for with my current job, maybe just building something small that you're never going to have to worry about payments.
I have never had to ask for a loan in the past or right now, And what you say about the student loan is not new, because I have some friends that they have a lot of like stress and a lot of anxiety because they need to pay for the loan, they need to pay for the credit card. I have allergies from the straw.
Like, this is such a shift, I think, within the United States or within maybe the world. Like, we didn't used to have as much debt as we currently do. Like, I understand the price of education, the housing market, rent, everything. Like, the prices are going up, so maybe that's part of it. But it's interesting that people are so comfortable taking on tons and tons of debt. It's just normal because everyone does it.
It's common.
Right? Like, if you want to go shopping and you don't have money,
you have the credit card.
Exactly. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is just understanding that taking out loans to get nicer things, bigger things, more things, okay, like, that's cool, but there's a cost, and that cost has been my freedom in the past, where I feel like I have to take a job, I have to do certain things that I otherwise don't want to do.
In my case, I was working in a call center for a couple of months. The only like reward for me was like, oh, I'm going to buy something that I like. In my case, was food. In other cases, a new TV or a machine to work out or whatever. And people ended up buying things that they don't need because they don't have the time.
Because they don't like their job, but then because they buy the things, they have to keep working their job to pay off the things they're buying.
So it's like a vicious circle.
And that's why we're choosing to build this house cheap, right, with the money that we have, and to have some place to come back to without any real expenses.
Yeah, and we are doing pretty well. It hasn't falling apart.
We're gonna do a video on minimalism, and definitely check that video out, because I think it relates to what we're talking about here, just this idea of being happy with less.
Yeah, it's possible.
And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like our channel.